So check this out, guys. I am actually in the doghouse vacuuming the floor. How crazy is that? What a spoiled dog, huh? What a spoiled dog. I actually put the vacuum cleaner out here. Yeah, oh, it's so spoiled. So spoiled. So this heat situation's working out pretty good. And let me show you here. So I had to unplug the vacuum to plug this back in. But basically what I did is I set up this heat lamp. And the interesting thing is up here, it says it's 79, but I'm kind of getting this huge heat gradient. So on the floor, it's actually like 75 degrees. And what happens is it's blowing out hot air here. It's probably 80-degree air here. And then when it comes in through this vent, it goes through the air conditioner heater unit. And and the thermostat's actually through that tube inside of the heater chiller. So what's weird is it's sucking in air down here and it's 75, but the heat gradient up here, by the time you get up here, it's like 79. And I came up here in the middle of the day, and it was actually, the sun was beating on the top of this thing, and this was 90 up here. And then I went outside and looked over there, and it was 77. So there's a pretty huge heat gradient from the top to the bottom, which I don't think is that big of a deal because the dogs are down here on the bottom anyway. So, and it's a good temperature down here. So sitting on the bottom, I guess it's always going to be about 75. And if this thing can't keep up, then the heat lamp will kick in. And I would imagine that it would actually get colder down here until it's actually 75 up at the top of the ceiling, probably in the night, before that heat lamp actually kicks in. So we are so close. I can't even believe how fat she is. I've never seen her that fat before. So I don't know, it's been a week ago I was thinking any day now, and I keep looking at her, I'm like, it's got to be any day. So she's getting close. I know she's not very happy, not very comfortable, but we're going to have puppies pretty soon. Check it out, it's the 21st of May, and there's frost on our barn. It is really cold. So as cold as it is, I wanted to check on this setup with the dog here, with the new heat lamp in there, see what the temperature is. And let's see, looks like it's still 63 in there. And I don't think, she still hasn't had her babies. I think I'm gonna have to upgrade her heat lamp to, I noticed it was a 125, so I think I should upgrade to a 250. So I was wondering why the duck's egg production was up and down, and I couldn't quite catch it on the camera. But I just saw a crow flying over the barnyard with a duck egg in his mouth. Alright guys, so one more time we are going to check out to see if the dog has had puppies. And it's getting close, it's got to be one of these days. No puppies. No puppies. We do have a small upgrade to your... We have a small upgrade. Alright, so our upgrade to the air-conditioned, heated doghouse, which by the way is working very nice. It's a nice, comfortable 76 degrees in here. We're going to add metal vents and get rid of these plastic ones. If she'll let me put them on. So they should definitely work. Looks like it's the right size. Wow, they almost will fit right over the other ones. But I'll take the other ones off first. Okay guys, so there it is. Doghouse update, revamp with the metal covers. And the funny thing is the first thing Amani did was she went over there and started gnawing on that one to see if she could eat it. So we'll see if she'll actually eat those or leave them alone. So we'll see. And I tried to put them up a little bit higher, as high as I could. Try to keep them as far away from the dogs as possible. So that is my heated, air-conditioned doghouse revision number 367. So if you've been watching the last few videos that I've had, you'll know that last week I had my very first baby ball python eggs hatch. And today I decided to go through, it's been actually 8 days in the incubator since they hatched. So I decided to pull them out here, and we're going to go through them. And I'm going to go ahead and set them up and put them in my little hatchling rack here. I'll probably start with the top and just go from oldest to youngest on the bottom. So this was actually 2 clutches. I guess I could start with this 1 clutch over here. So this was actually a scaleless head crossed with a jungle Woma spider. And I actually had 3 that hatched out if you watch that video. And the one, let me see if I can separate these guys. One of them hatched out and it almost looked like a pastel, but there's definitely no pastel in this mix. So I'm pretty sure it was a jungle Woma. And when I came in the day after I cut, it crawled out of the egg and it died. And I remember when I cut the egg open, it kind of looked like it was a little deformed. And sure enough, when I cut it open, I could notice something was wrong. And then when it crawled out of the eggshell, it was all deformed. It looked like it was partially attached to like an undeveloped twin, and when it crawled out, it unfortunately it didn't survive. So this is actually, so these 2 are actually either, there's really only a couple crosses, a couple options. So it's scaleless head times crossed with the jungle Woma spider. So jungle Woma is a lightning gene. I don't really see jungle Woma in these guys at all. I mean, they both look very normal to me. This one here is definitely a scaleless head. You can see there's scales missing on its head. And then this one, if we can see his little head, this one doesn't look like it has any scales missing. But it can trick you. And let me show you. Let me show you how it can trick you. So on a scaleless head, there's actually a high expression scaleless head and a low expression scaleless head. I'm just going to pull this tub out and put it down here. So you notice on a scaleless head that, of course, they have scales missing from their head, but also they have another characteristic. If you look at the scales, the last scale right on the vent, you'll see it's actually split into 2 scales right above my thumb there. And that split scale is actually a characteristic of the scaleless head. And I was kind of looking through all my other snakes, and I didn't really see that in any of them. So we can actually use that on these guys. It's possible you'll get a scaleless head without missing scales on its head. So, let's see what we have here. This one, if I can get it. Oh, it's so small. But you'll notice that last scale. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me see if I can go back and zoom in. But it's 1 scale. So this guy right here, that is just a normal ball python. not a scaleless head. Okay, and then that one's a scaleless head. There's no spider, no jungle woma. And then the next thing, we can kind of look for kinks. So that's kind of a common flaw in ball pythons is a kink. And I don't see any kinks at all in this one, this normal. And then next we can figure out if it's a male or a female. Okay, this is going to be kind of hard to capture here. Let's see. Okay, this one's going to be kind of hard to capture, but there's different ways to tell the gender of a ball python. And what I like to do is I like to probe them. So basically what you do is they have basically these little pockets right in the base of the tail, and if it's a male, it'll actually extend further into the pocket because that's where the hemipenes are. And you can see this one doesn't go that far. I don't know if you can see that, but it's only going that far and stopping, which is only that's not really that far. So I'd say this is a female. If it's a male, it'll go almost twice that far, I would say. So I'd say this is just a female normal. Okay, so for labeling, basically what I'm doing is 18 is for 2018, C2 is clutch 2, F is a female, and then scaleless head. And then basically what I do is I use this magnetic tape on here and just kind of measure it out and cut it. So this actually has like a sticky back on it, and I just hold it there just to position it, and then I attach this peels off on the back, and I'll attach then it. What I do is I just cut off the excess with the scissors. Okay, then my other clutch, I believe I have 10 hatchlings. I think so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll put this here. And my scaleless head. Let's see, it's this guy here. Hopefully that actually is a female. I'll have to check again. But a scaleless head female would be amazing. So then I'll just put the other normal. I think that's a normal female. And then I'll mark that tub. Okay, so that is one box out of the incubator and into the hatchling rack. Alright, making progress. So now, this is, these both hatched the same day. Both passed up pinstripe number 4 times the coral glow het pied. And look at these amazing snakes. So these are all the same clutch. That is a bunch of babies. Look at that. Wow. Alright, so I moved them all out on the table. Take a look at those guys, huh? That's something. Wow. So, what do we have here? Let's see what we have. We have several coral glows here. These guys are all twisted together. And none of these guys have shed yet. So it looks like we have 4 coral glows. This looks like a lemon blast here. And I would say, boy, look at that guy. This one's really interesting here. I would say this one's definitely a normal here. Lemon Blast. This is definitely a nice pastel. These almost all look like pastels. This one looks like it's really got something else going on, but I'd say, boy, those all look like pastel. Yeah. I'd say 4 pastels, a normal, and Lemon Blast. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's 10. And then these Coral Glows could be pastel Coral Glows. I don't think I have any pastel pinstripe Coral Glows because they'd look completely different. But the pastel would jumble up the pattern. It could lighten the head too. Boy, I just don't know. This guy's crawling away. So I probed this Lemon Blast, and I think she's a female. And she took a little strike at me. So I'm wondering, they're probably almost ready to feed. But she's a good looking snake. Her belly's clear. She doesn't look like she has any kinks or anything. Alright, for this girl, I have a tub all set up for her. So she's Clutch 1 from 2018, Pastel Pinstripe. Okay, so on this one, the probe actually went further in. And you know what? Another thing I'd like to try is to see how much they weigh, just hatched, before they eat. They're weighing about 50 grams for that one. I don't know why, but this guy seems a lot skinnier and longer than the other ones. And so this is that pastel male. I think these guys might be ready to eat, but maybe I'll feed him tomorrow. Doesn't look like he's got any kinks either. He looks good. Alright. This is my 4th snake in the rack. Perfect. It's a male pastel. So I think this one is a male too. Another male pastel. So this one is a female pastel. I weighed her and she actually came in at 58 grams. So here's another female pastel. She's hiding her head. So I actually got to my normal here and I realized that all my IDs are wrong. And this is actually a female. And then I looked at her belly and I saw these lines along the side of her belly, and I was like, you know what, that looks a lot like she is het for pied. And then I realized, oh yeah, 50% of these are het pied. So if you're wondering what het pied looks like, I mean, this is 50% het pied, but I can guarantee by her by the tracks on her belly that she is definitely het pied. That's what het pied looks like. It's very obvious markings. These little black marks basically right along the white belly. Okay, so this is basically what my new sticker looks like. Smaller print, But 2018 clutch 1 female normal 50% het pied. And if I was a betting man, I'd say she's 100% het pied. But based on the genetics, you have to say half of the babies are het pied and half aren't. But based on the markings, I would say she's het pied. So I went through and I updated all the labels to include het pied on these. I also flipped them all over. And here's a pastel. They pretty much all look the same. And unless you just have a straight normal, I don't believe you can see the tracks on the belly for the het pied. So now we're just down to the coral glows. And some of them have pastel in them. And I'm thinking maybe this one. And the reason I'm thinking is because it has these little highlights. I don't know if you can see that very good. But like right in here and here. And the other ones, they don't really, I don't know, it's so hard to tell. May have to wait till they shed for the first time. So this is definitely a male coral glow. That probe went way in on this one. And I know most coral glows are usually male makers, and since I had a male to start with, if this is a male, it's going to be a male maker. Female coral glows are pretty rare, and I think he is possible pastel. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark them all as possible pastel, 50% het pied. So this guy seems a little bit chunkier than the other ones. Let's see how much he weighs. Yeah, 62 grams. So here's the label on that one. Possible pastel. Yeah, so this one's definitely male too. Spry little guy. Okay, no surprise here. Another male. I'm hoping someday to actually get a female coral glow. Alright, this is my last coral glow. And it is a male. I definitely got faster on the probing. Now I can probe in about 20 seconds. That first time was kind of embarrassing, but I'm definitely going to leave it in the film. So, so yeah, I'm gonna put this guy up. All right, guys. So take a look at that. Filled the whole top of my hatchling rack already, just from those snakes. So the next thing I'm going to do is go through and give them some water. Okay, next I'm going to take my pump up sprayer and just give them a little water, because I know they still have to shed. So I'll just kind of give them a little squirt there and make sure they have enough humidity to shed out. So one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feed these guys. And I found a tub that had so many little rat pinkies in it. And what I want to do is just throw them in there. These are big enough to where they're pretty much totally harmless, and I could leave them in there overnight. Okay, then what I did is I just basically put little binder clips on the right, and so I can leave those little pinky rats in there overnight, and they'll actually survive. Well, if they don't get eaten. And I can put them back with the nursing moms. And if they do eat them, then I'll put them in the middle, move these little binder clips over. And then once they eat 3 meals in there, either ready to sell, or if I want to keep them, I can move them. Well, I'll probably grow them out a little bit before I move them over. But at least somehow I can mark them. I might just put another little note on here. Ate at least 3 meals or something. So that's basically it. Thanks for watching me go through my hatchlings, and I'll see you next time.